to the entertaining Talkin' Sports.
What is going on, football fans? Back at it with another New York Giants video, and in this video I'm going to talk about the news that has come out about Leonard Williams. Of course, there was a false report a couple of days ago that I did not report on when I got back home from work and did some research. Turned out it was a fake Twitter account, a guy that was posing that he was working for SNY, saying that the New York Giants had finished off a deal that would pay Leonard Williams upwards of $12 million a season. I always thought that sounded too good to be true, to be completely honest with you, being that Leonard Williams knows he could hold out and make $15 million a year with a franchise tag or $13 million a year with a transition tag. I don't think he would pass up the opportunity to at least hit the open market and see what teams could offer him. So that's why I was kind of skeptical about the news when I heard it. But now word is coming out from very credible sources of ESPN that the New York Giants and Leonard Williams are not even close. Now, what this opens up is the possibility of something that I think was reported about a week ago by Ralph Vacchiano, a guy I often, quote, I think it was Vacchiano, that said that the New York Giants could have interest in Derek Brown. Now, of course, the New York Giants were at the Auburn Pro Day, but I kind of tried to downplay that in one of my videos when I talked about it, basically saying that the DB coach was there and they could have been scouting DBs, and I still don't think the New York Giants would take Derek Brown at number 4, but if they were to let Leonard Williams walk, basically what I said in that video, I could see at least being a possibility. If they were able to trade down to 6 with the Chargers, Gettleman could sell you on the fact that, hey, we got a second and a future second. That's better than what I lost for Leonard Williams, and we filled the same void. That's what I could see potentially happening. I hope that's not the case. I personally do not want Derek Brown. I think he's a very good player, but he had an underwhelming combine, and I still think we're pretty deep at that position, even if we were to lose Leonard Williams. As good as Leonard Williams was for the New York Giants, I think we have much more pressing needs. But we'll have to wait and see how it all plays out and whether or not Leonard Williams will be back with the New York Giants. I think they have about a week to decide whether or not they're going to franchise tag him, and if they don't, it's very possible he may sign on with another team, which begs the question, could the Giants get compensated for Leonard Williams if he signed a big contract? Well, according to the rules, as long as you don't offset the contract with a bigger contract from someone else, I believe they would still be compensated. So the Giants would have to think long and hard about that. I believe they'd receive a third-round comp pick if Leonard Williams signed a big contract, similar to that of Landon Collins last year. But being that the Giants do have some cap space, it's very possible they could offset the comp pick that they were projected to receive. But, obviously we'll have to wait and see if he's even back with the New York Giants. Still a very strong possibility either way. But let's jump into some of the quotes about Leonard Williams regarding the New York Giants by some of the insiders. Ian Rappaport, of course, very credible. The Giants have an interesting decision to make late this week. Do they franchise tag star defensive lineman Leonard Williams? Sources say the two sides are not close on a contract extension, and Williams will have a strong market. The tag is a possibility, but so is letting him hit the market. So there you go. He's basically saying it's still up in the air, and Josina Henderson is going to hit even further home with it, with the tweet I'm about to pull up there. But he says that the market is strong for Leonard Williams. What I want to know is, what is the market price? Because if the market price is going to be $14 or $15 million on a 4 or 5 year contract, I don't think Dave Gettleman should bring him back. And it's possible if there's a team desperate out there enough for him. We see it all the time. Teams overpay for free agents. He may get that. And Dave Gettleman's already made a mistake by trading for this guy. It would be an even bigger mistake if you tied yourself up to a 4 or 5 year deal for a player who I like, but for $15 million a year, that's a lot. You could spend that $15 million somewhere else, probably on a 2 or 3 year deal, and get just as much production out of another position, or even a guy like Corey Littleton would probably command that kind of money, and I'd rather have him. You still have credible guys, Dexter Lawrence, B.J. Hill, Dalvin Tomlinson, that could play on that interior line for the New York Giants. But, like I said, we're going to have to wait and see. And this is what then Josina Anderson had to say. One source told me yesterday they feel 50-50 on the prospects of the New York Giants extending Leonard Williams and his long-term future with the team. We'll see how it evolves, though. But I can tell you I spoke with at least one AFC team that underlined that the team is in market for a defensive end and a defensive tackle. Now, she didn't specifically mention that team was interested in Leonard Williams, but Leonard Williams would be one of the bigger name defensive tackles on the open market if you were to hit it. And, players like this get paid. The New York Giants paid one of them, Snacks Harrison, 3 years ago for I think it was about $11 million a season, if I'm not mistaken. and the market has gone up on average about 6 or 7% every year after that. So if Snacks Harrison were to hit the open market today, it would be about $14 or $15 million, which is why Snacks Harrison probably thinks he could get that, especially being that is what the franchise tag would be if the Giants decided to franchise tag him. And he has come out and said, or his people have come out and said, that he may try to fight to get the defensive end franchise tag. The Giants have a battle on their hands. We'll see what they decide to do, but I hope Dave Gettleman does not cave and give this guy a lot of money. You made a mistake, move on. How it will affect the draft, that will be interesting as well. I still hope that they either go with a guy like Isaiah Simmons or possibly offensive line, or trade down and get the offensive lineman. I do not want Derrick Brown, but if we lose Leonard Williams to free agency, it at least opens up the possibility. The other thing it does, obviously, it gives you more cap flexibility. In the video I did last night, I projected $13 million to Leonard Williams. Well, that $13 million would be able to be used somewhere else. Possibly bring in another big fish or bring in more depth on the football team. As always, guys, if you liked what you watched, please subscribe, drop a comment, maybe give me a little thumbs up. Cheers.